We are live again at Pioneer Park. How's everyone doing today?
It's a bright, sunshiny day today.
I'm letting everything come in.
It's hot.
Started 10 seconds in. All right. Last week, we talked about eating spiritually or intentionally eating and how you can make it spiritual. Today, we are talking about the spiritual side of art. What do you got for us, Brayden?
Well, I guess the fun thing about exploring the spiritual side of art is it's really a chance to be able to connect with yourself. And it's another exercise and practice into your own intuition. And it kind of gives you the chance to be able to do a few things between being able to get a clouded mind out on paper to being able to bleed out feelings that could be maybe expressed in a more deconstructive manner that ends up being something you kind of second guess doing later. So it's nice to be able to have these outlets. Um,
I feel, as someone who likes art, I get pretty intimidated when I've got a blank canvas or a blank sheet of paper.
Trying to figure out what it is you're going to.
Yeah, like you're supposed to already have something in mind when you go into creating it. And a lot of fear about messing it up.
And not turning out what you want it to be.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
So it like that right there in and of itself shows like how much control you like to have in what you're doing, you know? Uh, and I think that's like a big starting point, a big like hang up for a lot of people that want to art. It's like they want to art, but I don't know what I should art. Um,
or I'm not good at it.
Maybe changing your perspective on what you're creating, or maybe focusing in more on your intention. Like, what is it that you're really looking to create? What are the feelings you have inside you? What are the thoughts that are just perusing your mind? Because whether you want it to or not, it's going to affect how your artwork comes out. So if you can play to those, not only do you have maybe an easier startup time, but you'll also already be in the thick of what it is that's bouncing around in your head that needs insight or what have you.
Yes.
Like, I like to draw while I think. I like to doodle while I think. And then I like to try
I
and
miss doodling.
pick up on the feelings that I have while I'm doodling and how my drawings react. Like, are my lines getting closer or farther apart from each other in the abstract art? Is it getting crazy? Is it more big swirly doos? Like, because you are drawing the feelings and thoughts in your mind and your body, and it's being relayed on paper, it's another way to be able to kind of get a look at what's going on without having to put it all in words. That might be overwhelming.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of my best drawings or paintings were always done with big emotions.
I can
Like, I
see
feel
that.
like my best drawings were always done when I was upset. And I, funny enough, kind of noticed that when I'm sketching and I'm upset, I I go over the same line a couple of times and they're always fast strokes. But then by the time I'm done drawing it, I feel more calm and I can see more swirls and curved lines in them.
It's like getting out the irritation that you
Yeah,
have in your
yeah, it's just
brain.
like
I got to get this out of the way so I can
just
see what else is there.
get it out.
I like it. I like it
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah. And being okay with it not being perfect, I feel like is something you have to, in the beginning, give yourself permission for. Like it can be a form of a meditation. It is a form of meditation. Because as you are creating art, you are focusing in on something and letting go of the rest of everything else. And
Wow. And here's kind of a thought to go with that. Like we desire perfection so much in our lives that we want it in every aspect of it. We want that perfect painting, that perfect drawing. And it's not necessarily that we want it to be perfect, but we want it to be the way that we envision it. And if there's anything that I've learned over the last 2 years especially, it's that very seldomly do we get things the way we picture them, because as we go along the journey towards that goal, we have new understanding, we have new challenges, we have new insight. We might go a different direction, and at the end of the day, the picture that we have, that end result, is something way more different than what you had originally started within your head. Whether it's worse or better, regardless, it's so different. So trying to pin an exactitude on what you're trying to express is almost like a self-defeating thing to do.
it is.
Huh. I like that.
You know, one of the cool activities that I've seen on social media, specifically TikTok, was this creator, this artist who makes things out of spilt wine. She puts a big old piece of like watercolor paper down, and she's got a glass of wine, and she splashes it or she dumps it and then lets it dry a bit, and she'll take some of the wine and do something else over some way, because as it spills you see something, you're imagining making those shapes into something,
And then she just accentuates what she
and then
sees.
she goes back over with a black outline marker and creates her thing.
That's fun.
So
So there's a lot of
it'd
different
be a
ways to go
good
about
way,
art.
like spilling something, coffee, uh, tea, or even just taking some paint and splattering it down, watercolor paint, whatever, and then letting it dry, and then just like you look up into the clouds and see shapes.
Wow, you could get real creative. If you're like
Yeah,
smashing things, you could be smashing Jolly Ranchers and turn around and use that as an art medium. Like, sky's the limit.
that reminds me of Across the Universe.
Across the Universe.
He's
That's a
taking
good
the
movie.
strawberries and he's
Oh yeah,
splattering them
he's
on the canvas.
pinning them to the canvas,
Hmm.
watching the juices drip down. That was a really cool. I like that show. I could talk about that show forever.
There are no mistakes in art.
No mistakes. And there are so many different ways to be able to express it, Like it doesn't have to be painting or drawing. It can be crafting. It can be building things. Hell, it can be destroying things, Like the sky's the limit. Your imagination really is where it takes you to be able to do what you want to do with it. But it's allowing yourself not just to express, but to go back and like really take a look at what you expressed and take a look at yourself. Um, that kind of ties into the vision boards portion of it. Vision boards, in a nutshell, they are something to help you be able to, in my opinion, help you find focus in what you're looking to do. And you can do that in any way, shape, or form. You can do it for your career path. You can do it for personal things you've got going on in your life. If you're just needing direction on something, or if you're just looking to have just like a good meditation session with self. The cool thing about spirit boards is there's also it's art, so there's no uh, really hard rules on how it's made. They go by a bunch of other names. You've got mood boards, action boards, journey boards, self-reflection boards. Sky's the limit. But the point of it is to help you find direction. And one of the ways that I know best how to do it is you go and you get yourself like 30 different magazines. Get yourself a big poster board and a glue stick, and you have your question or your intention set, and then you start thinking about those things, everything that relates to that goal, if you will, while you're going through these magazines. And whatever hops out at you, you cut it out and you paste it wherever you feel like it needs to go. It doesn't, and it's beautiful because you really can't control this. Like, this is all going by feel. And once you feel like you've finished and you've gotten what you need out of it, that your board is all set up, then you get to spend the next couple of weeks looking over it. And you spend 5 minutes, you can spend an hour, you can spend 30 seconds. You're just continually looking at this and kind of just reflecting back on that same idea. And you'll start to see a story present itself, and it'll start to help you understand a lot of different things, whether it's things that you're hung up with on yourself, or maybe things that you didn't realize you're putting too much importance on, and it's kind of a roadblock because your focus needs to shift elsewhere. Sometimes it's just recognizing that the end result really is like that big picture that you really want to have, and you're seeing the steps and it feels more real. So, like that's something that I would encourage you guys to explore, look it up, see what calls to you. Um, yeah, it's a good meditation practice.
I love vision boards. I mean, I feel like most people have seen it in like a movie or something. You got a big old poster board and you've got a bunch of little pictures pasted all over it.
And they started
I
taking off in the early 2000s.
I like setting an intention with them, and I like the idea of also not setting an intention with them. So it's almost like you are trusting your own intuition to guide you to what feels good. So as you're going through these magazines, which by the way, you could go to like a hospital and go to the waiting room and ask for old magazines. I know you can definitely go to Granite Health and Fitness and they get rid of old magazines in a bin. So
you could even try Barnes and Noble, or sorry, yeah, Barnes and Noble. They have magazine racks. They may have old magazines that you probably get your hands on for the same thing. And that's the other thing. And it doesn't have to be just magazines. It's just, I know that people feel the least amount of feeling bad about cutting into a book when it's a
ooh,
magazine. But it can be
yeah,
magazine, it can be newspaper, it can be
or a
your favorite book.
school
You could be cutting out
hobby.
passages from your favorite book. Goodness knows what. Like, the sky's the limit. It's
Mm.
pictures, it's phrases, it's words, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Flip through the pages and whatever speaks to you, cut out a bunch of different things and
Have yourself
splay them out and
have
make it
yourself
a party,
a nice tasty beverage,
a
tea or
girls' night,
whatever.
guys' night.
Yeah, guys, we could do this
I
too. It
feel like
helps.
as you would be putting them on the vision board, you would be dreaming big of what speaks to you. And oddly find out that you're not as passionate about the thing you're pursuing. And
That doesn't call you the same way it used to.
yeah,
And in the process, you might see something on that vision board that just really sticks in your brain, and you're like, that's probably going to be the next place I need to go. There's the next lesson. I see it. Here it comes.
hi Sierra, hi Shayna, hello Rick. I guess I know what we're doing next weekend.
Set the intentions.
Yes, I need to get some magazines.
It's exciting stuff. And they're really a good opportunity or a good time to take the time to do these is when you are feeling lost, when you're feeling anxious, when you feel like you need to be doing something, like your progress isn't there, your productivity is down. Those are the times because honestly, I've noticed dumbest decisions always come from being impatient, from feeling like I should be doing something, and if I had just slowed down and waited a little bit longer, you're still doing things, but you're not trying to make the next big thing happen.
It's always hard to start. And I feel like a fun little vision board would be a good way to figure out where to start.
And be inspired to continue
Yes,
because you'll see it all the time.
you can never use up creativity.
That's like a perpetual
The more you
energy.
use
I like
it, the more you have. By Maya Angelou. Quote,
End quote.
you never run out of creativity. Even when you come up to roadblocks, you have to be creative about how to get around it.
Yeah, and be willing to let go of the current path you're taking. Like there are many directions to the same end result, right? So if what you're doing right now doesn't work, it doesn't necessarily mean you've got to be a bulldozer and blast through that wall. It may work that way, but there may be other ways that allow for you to be able to move up and forward. I mean, we're multidimensional beings. We're here to learn all the different aspects of our life, not just become really good at one. So, you know, having tenacity is great, and if you've got it in your arsenal and it's one of your mainly used tools, like, in a sense, I envy you because you get a lot done with that.
Could try a lot of different things.
There are a lot of other things that you can add into that will really just help modify and create easier, better pathways. Yeah. Gosh, this one was kind of a quick one. There wasn't a whole lot of. All right, we could also talk about museums. So if you don't feel like having art of your own, you can go appreciate others' art. Um, it could be your local museum, like we have here in Billings, Montana. I'm sure they have virtual museums, art museums that you can go and take a look at.
I'm drawing a blank. What is the name of our art museum?
The Yellowstone Art
Yam.
Museum.
Yellowstone Art Museum. That's what it is. The Yam.
That's hilarious. They
Yes.
should have shaped it in the shape of a
Yes.
yam.
Art galleries are a form of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think of an art gallery, you walk into this room and you got walls and walls and walls, and sometimes you put in a little cubicle and you be in words escape me. Surrounded by it.
A tiny cubicle full of lights and paintings.
Yeah, I don't know. You're immersed in it.
Oh, that's
You're
a good
immersed
word.
in it.
And remembering that if every time you're creating a piece of art, you're putting a piece of yourself into it, you're
Yes.
creating an energy print. So if you're creating with intention, you can create positive energy vibe artwork to put in your house. And it doesn't have to be big, loud, and flashy unless that's what works for you. But being able to see enough of it, it's like a residual energy print that you'll be able to go back to.
Yeah, so
Kind of like a
going to an art gallery when you've got all this
like a
art on the
battery.
wall, you're like looking into the other person's soul
Yeah.
and how they were feeling when they created the art.
I just imagine the energy coming off of all these pieces.
Yes.
You could walk into a room with your eyes closed. You could probably feel the energy coming off of it if you sit there long enough and just
In a sense, you almost got
get
the
a feel for
person's
the room.
aura coming off of the painting, and you are
Privy to it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the best part is because we all have different perspectives. We all gain something different out of it. So it's not like you're coming to go to this specific art gallery to see this specific piece.
Everybody has a different interpretation.
Yeah, you're not going to bring everybody that
So
same
you can
piece to be able to
pull
get the
and
same
reflect
feelings.
and dig for all the little things in the art and the brush strokes and the colors that were used, and you can feel how they felt when they were making it.
You can tie it to your own life. You can look at pieces that just feel like they speak about your life. Don't be scared to feel your feels.
Abstract art.
It's weird. I don't
I
really
love it
understand
so
it.
much. I don't know how to. I struggle trying to create it because control issues. It's just like,
Feel
okay,
that.
if I'm gonna put a circle over here, then it's gonna be a little empty over here, so I gotta put a circle here too. I can't just have it dripping over here. It's so thick and it's so much color.
Where's my measuring stick?
Yes.
This line is so not straight.
My mother is a great watercolor painter, and she has been making abstract art lately, and it is mind-boggling.
My mother does the same. And her abstract arts turn into like an actual piece by the time it's done, but it starts out with just like splishes and splashes, and all of a sudden you can actually see something, and it's
Mom, if you're
crazy
watching this,
process.
you should record painting your abstract pieces and show us the process, or show me the process.
Send her the process. We
Put
can
it on
post
TikTok.
it on here.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, It could be as easy as Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I don't know who else here likes Pinterest, but Pinterest is my jam. You've got
Mm,
endless flows of information for creativity and understanding. So even if you can't get to a place where there's art, you can find inspiration there. And if you don't even art, by the time it's said and done with, it won't matter because you have gotten your fix anyway, looking at all the different kinds of things that inspire you.
so I have an idea to propose to everyone watching. I would like to set up a date where we can get some people here and I will get some canvases and we will have a little painting session where we will paint other people.
And you don't
And
have to paint the people themselves. You just
yeah,
paint what you see and feel about the person.
so
Express
it's
it.
it's going to be expressive, a little fun activity. I'll get the canvas and the paints and some paintbrushes and it'll be so fun.
And then when we're done, we can sit and discuss not just what we saw, but what the other person sees. Trade paintings.
You could whatever draws your attention about the other person.
Hmm.
If it's the energy that you're getting off of them and you feel like they're more throwing out yellows and whatnot, then you can do your whole painting in hues of yellow, or they're wearing a specific something over here on the shirt and it draws your attention, so you focus in on that. It's no right or wrong way to do it. So I think it would be fun
I think
if
so
we
too.
paint each other and then we show the other person, and it's in a way showing the things that draw your attention, the things you like about them, the beauty that you see in that person that you wouldn't think of as beautiful about yourself.
And remember, like, since we all have different perspectives, there are things we are blind to ourselves. Like, that's the whole point of trying to have our inner knowing. So it's nice to be able to just have somebody that can, in a safe way, tell you the things about yourself that you wouldn't normally hear.
Yeah,
Yeah, no worries about judgments or comparisons. It's all just there for us to be able to see and understand.
we would all have our canvases and our paintbrushes, and we would continue our talk while we're painting, and then at the end of, you know, an hour or so, we'll reveal our paintings. So let me know what you guys think. You want to do something like that? Or we could put together a time where we could do the vision boards, or
Vision boards would be fun too. Any of it. But definitely, if you guys have ideas, something that you think would be fun to do for the group, by all means.
we'll do it like a month out,
So we have proper time to plan and everything. Get people
get an
time to.
RSVP
Yep,
on
yep.
how many supplies we should get.
Give you guys a chance, the time to request time off if need be, whether it's work or otherwise.
That would be so special.
Get your babysitter. Bring your kids.
Yes, I've got my daughter at the park over here right now.
How fun. Yeah, no, I took notes. So I started my writing journey. It was painful, but I did it. Whole
I'm so
page
proud
and
of
a
you.
half. And I've got to work on my handwriting. I had to guess on some of the words. But
I
otherwise,
like
it
the
was
little
fun.
doodles you got on it too.
Yeah,
Doodle in while you're thinking.
always.
I have gotten a little bit better about watering my garden, um, and making it for me instead of
I
a
have
chore I
to.
have to do.
I like that. I like that a lot. Perspective is huge. You'll
Yes.
hear me say it a lot, guys. It's like my thing. The hill I will die on.
Art is choreography
Man,
or
dancing.
choreographing stories that words,
Fail to express.
yes,
Can't grasp the concept of.
serves as a sanctuary for the soul.
And definitely dancing, all of the art forms. I didn't even think about physical movement as a way to express.
It makes us pause and reflect.
And if it doesn't make us
and connect to the
positive,
world,
it makes us,
our inner world.
or it puts us in the moment and takes us away from the future and the past and really puts us in our present where we can focus solely on just the moment. Because, that's really where the magic happens is in the moment. We have our futures to be able to see where we'd like to go, and we have our past to remind us what it takes to get there. But all of it happens in the now. So if things aren't happening in your now, it's because you're either stuck too far back or too far forward, and you've got to readjust.
Or you're holding on to a belief that you feel is important for some reason that you're not willing to let go of.
You can't get back into the river until you let go of that anchor.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, we'll be stuck right there at the bank, at the docking station. And that's probably like the hardest part about growth, I think, is really like learning to let go of the things that are comfortable. It's not necessarily that they're bad for you, but they're comfortable. And they allow for an ease of life that you are used to. Even if it's not easy, it's still something that's comfortable.
You know what?
And because we are creatures that always adjust, every new thing that we step into that we do long enough becomes comfortable, and it's our new comfort zone. And it's okay to stay there for a time. But if you're feeling stuck and you need movement, it's time to
Growth
reassess
only
those
happens
things.
when you step into the uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I really despise watercolor painting because I have less control over that medium than I do with acrylic paint or oil paint. Oil paint makes me mad because you have to wait so long for it to dry. And
That's its only downside, though. You can almost sculpt with
yeah,
oil paint. I love it. It's so
yeah,
textured.
I just the blending when you I don't know, man. People do crazy things with oil painting that I just can't
And I like
wrap
that
my
you
head
can
around.
layer oil painting.
Well, you can layer acrylic
Yeah, but
and watercolor too.
you've got to wait for acrylic and watercolor to dry before you layer it, though.
Oh yeah, less time than oil painting.
No, because if it's oil painting, like as long as you're not doing too many strokes, you can layer colors on top of other
Just
layers.
like watercolor, it's frustratingly unfamiliar. It's my mom took some time to try and teach me some tricks and tools about watercolor painting, and I tried as best I could with an open mind to do some stuff, and I immediately ran right back to acrylic. I feel like I could get into the watercolor if I just let go of that need for control.
That's how I feel about drawing on large canvas
Like
versus
doing the things with
small
the spilling
canvas.
stuff. I think that'd be really fun. I should practice more on doing the abstract stuff and letting go of control.
Just
Self-reflection.
Just replace control with the emotion you want to express. Yeah.
Setting aside time.
Getting out of your head.
Yes. Speaking of, oh my goodness, good example. I have these beautiful leather-bound journals with white pages. There's no lines in them. I have three of them. One of them's huge, and the next one's like medium, and then I got a smaller one. That'd be a good place to start. And they're blank because I'm scared of putting something in it and then it turning into something else. Like there should be an intention for that journal, and then it needs to look consistent as I go through it, because everybody else online has such beautiful journals. What if the first page is crap and then I open it and I'm like, oh man.
I used to rip out my pages if I took too long to go back to
Yes,
it.
that's how I feel.
And then I want to
Don't
start
do
over
that.
from scratch. Yeah. Somebody looked at me like I was crazy. Like, that was an entry. I was like, yeah, but it wasn't consistent. They're like, you wrote in your journal. You're just going to rip it up and throw it away? That was a piece of your life. I was like, oh, I didn't even think about it like that, you know?
What if
I was so
instead of
stuck on the
writing journal,
consistency.
you did an art journal?
I've thought about doing an art journal.
I could do an art journal. I should do an art journal.
Just paint your feelings every day
Um,
or draw them.
I'm not going to control it, Brayden.
Oh, well, I mean, but you gotta have a general direction, yeah?
Nope.
No. It's
Nope.
just strictly an art journal.
It's just an art journal. It
yeah.
is what it is.
Isn't that like what an art pad is, though? Is like an art journal?
This one is a book.
Yeah,
So
this
it's
is different, okay? We're not
I
talking about
don't know.
technicalities.
This is a starting point. The board that I leap off of.
mini vision boards.
It is what it is.
Agendas.
I think it'll be more of a journal.
That'll be fun.
Just time in.
I mean, there's stories about people who
To
read their
reflect on how I
history
feel, or just
tapestries.
make sure you take 10 minutes and start doodling. The
Doodle
more you
for 10
doodle, the
minutes.
better you'll get.
The better you get, the better you feel.
So why not eat doodles for every meal?
Ole!
Woo!
I like it. If you haven't, get outside, do some grounding, get your feet into the grass, smile at the sun for a few seconds, get some vitamin D,
Water your sunflowers.
water your sunflowers, say hello to the flowers,
Yes.
save some bugs.
I just remembered I missed a row.
You're like, damn it.
They're coming up real good, though. I'll have to take some more pictures to share.
So exciting.
All right, guys. Let me know if any of those ideas pique your interest. Create an event and
Do the things.
get the supplies, get an RSVP.
Let's go have some fun. Socialize.
Let's paint each other
Pretty sure we don't socialize
on a
very
canvas,
often.
not the body, just so we're clear. I'll get some canvases.
Any chance to socialize.
Yes. We'll ease into that, that's for later.
Adults just don't do it enough. Especially when we have kids and all that other stuff, Alright. Well, I don't really have much else of anything to add to this.
I have a quote to leave you with by Leonardo da Vinci. Art is the queen of all sciences, communicating knowledge to all the generations of the world.
Oh, I like that.
Let's create more, guys.
Art
All right, next Wednesday here at Pioneer Park, unless said otherwise. Can't wait to see your guys' faces soon. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.
Until next time.